Добрый день, меня зовут Мария Викторовна Овчинникова. Я доцент кафедры английской филологии и переводоведения. И сегодня мы с вами поговорим о том, с чего же начинать обучение иностранному языку. So let's start. Well, there are questions about English language teaching. What shall we start our education? And we ask some questions about that. What to teach, why to teach, and which methods and approaches and principles to use while teaching. Well, all these questions can arise when we are touching the problem English language teaching. The field of linguistics and teaching in the 20th century is marked by the development of different foreign language teaching methods and approaches. Some of them have no or very few followers, and others are widely used. So the first question, as I mentioned, is what to teach. And here we can face the first methodological category, and there are some approaches under this category, and these approaches are to understand this category in Russian methodology. And the main one can be presented as linguistic, psychological, and methodological components. So, English language teaching. And under this question, linguistic foundation is presented with two main points, language and speech. And all of us who are involved in the process of teaching ask ourselves, what to start with, language or speech? And this is really controversial question. So, if we are talking about language, we mean the system, the rules, and the exceptions. When we are talking about speech, we mean phrases, exclamations, dialects, monologues, and different word combinations. And all these facts can be influenced by the question what to start with. So, if we are talking about speech, our speech depends on communicative aim. We may change the meaning of this communication. We may show our doubts, we may show our surprise, we may show our discontent or disagreement, and all these things will be connected with speech. For example, I've heard you are not going to be a film star, and we can find some answers. Yes, I am going to. No, I am not going. So the correct will be, yes, I am going to. For example, if our Russian language, we can ask the question, are you going to the cinema today? And we may answer, no, I am, or yes, I am not. And it's possible in Russian. It's absolutely impossible in English language. Because in English language, we can face only one negative form. So we can answer, no, I am not, or yes, I am. And we can't mix both yes and no in one sentence. This is the important part. The linguistic component should be focused on the problem of selecting context. And here we can face some points: language aspect, vocabulary, grammar, rules, and phonetic exercises, speech aspect, and social and cultural aspect. All three components are very important if we are talking about the choice, what to start with, as I mentioned at the beginning. So what should we remember while choosing the language means? We should remember three main aspects. One of them is level of language, the second one age of learners, and the third level of education and culture. What should we start with? Language or speech? Again, rules or communicative tasks and exercises. Of course, everything depends. For example, if we are having the class of teenagers under 13, 14 years old, we should mix. We should mix the rules and we should mix the communicative tasks, because this category of learners can understand their definitions and grammar rules, and we can both use theory and practice. For example, if we are talking about people who need to learn English very fast and quickly, we understand that they don't need boring rules, they don't need boring explanations, they just need communicative phrases, and they are to study English very quickly. So here we can choose the communicative aspect. If we are talking about students at the university, for example, of course, it depends which faculty they study. If we are talking about philological faculty or language faculty, of course, they need rules and theory and all the exercises which are connected with language and speech. If we are talking children, just imagine kindergarten, children under 3, and they are very small, they like to play, and of course they don't need the boring explanations, they don't need the terminology, and they don't need different hard words to remember and rules to remember, and they just want to play, and they just want to talk to each other, and so they need communicative phrases. So here we can speak only about speech approach in teaching language. So when we are talking about what to choose, speech or language, we should mention 4 main factors: general level of our learners, the purpose of teaching, language experience our learners have or don't have, and of course the age. All these aspects are very important where we decide what to start with, language or speech. So when we are talking about psychological foundation, we should speak about skills and competence. These are 2 points which are very important because there is a difference between skills and competence itself. Something I can do perfectly, something I know perfectly, and this is about skills, language and communicative ones. So something I know perfectly and may use in any communicative task, situation and exercise under any circumstances we wish. Here we can talk only about competence, so language and communicative skills, both, and combined in this competence. So, methodological foundation, which methods, approaches, and principles to use while teaching, answers and refers to some activities: writing, reading, listening, speaking, vocabulary and pronunciation, and of course grammar. So all these aspects are involved into methodological foundation, and they are the basis of methodological foundation. So when we are talking about language and speech both, and when we are asking ourselves the question what to start with, we should remember that humanistic approach means developing the learner's whole personality, giving support to the partner, and this is the main thing we should remember while teaching language. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope we shall see next time.